They call it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, and the two protagonists do battle once again this coming Saturday, October 28 in Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to the fourth episode of college football's greatest interstate rivalries on Saturday Sportsline Memories. Florida and Georgia have faced each other nearly every year since 1926, and just as good rivalries do, momentum has swung from one school to the other over the past decades. Before 1926, Georgia won all 4 or 5 matchups, depending on which school is doing the counting. Georgia's Bulldogs dominated from 1926 through 1951, winning 19, losing just 5, and tying once. During the early part of that 25-year cycle, Georgia coach Harry Mayer went 6-3-1 against Florida. Mayer had played at Notre Dame under Knute Rockne, then succeeded George Woodruff as Georgia's head coach. Woodruff himself had gone 2-0 against Florida. Mayer coached Georgia through 1937, then coached at Mississippi through 1945. After that, he spent more than 20 years as a sports writer in Atlanta. He died in 1978. In 1939, Wally Butts took the reins at Georgia and guided the Dogs to a 10-2 record against the Gators through 1951. However, the rest of Butts' games against Florida weren't nearly as successful, as he went only 2-7 against the Gators until he stepped down from coaching in 1960. Butts died in 1973. Bob Woodruff reversed the Gators' slide against Georgia during his coaching tenure from 1950 to 1959. He was the first Florida coach to last double-digit years in the position, going 6-4 against Georgia during those years. Bob Woodruff later served as Tennessee's athletic director from 1963 through 1985, and he died in 2001. From 1960 to 1969, another 10-year coaching stint at Florida was filled by Ray Graves. He went 6-3-1 against Georgia and coached Gator quarterback Steve Spurrier, who became Florida's coach starting in 1990, lasting through the 2001 season. Graves also served as Florida's athletic director through 1979. He died at age 96 back in 2015. Doug Dickey guided Florida's fortunes from 1970 through 1978. The former Florida player, who played under coach Bob Woodruff, was then hired by Woodruff when he served as Florida's athletic director. But Dickey's Florida teams were dominated by Vince Dooley's Georgia teams. Dooley went 6-3 against Dickey and 8-2 against Florida from 1979 through Dooley's retirement in 1988. As of late October 2023, Dickey is still living, and this Saturday, October 28, marks the one-year anniversary of Dooley's death. Overall, Dooley was 17-7-1 against Florida, nearly duplicating the Bulldogs' success against Florida between 1926 and 1951. Florida swung the pendulum back its way with the hire of former Gator quarterback Steve Spurrier before the 1990 season. Spurrier absolutely dominated Georgia, winning 11 while losing only once. His Florida teams won 6 SEC championships and a national championship in 1996. The last 21 years have been nearly even, with Florida winning 11 and Georgia winning 10, but the Dogs have won 5 of the last 6 from 2017 through 2022, correlating with what is arguably the greatest era ever for Georgia football under current coach Kirby Smart. Now for each team's greatest victory in the series. In 1980, Georgia trailed Florida 21-20 with a little more than a minute left in the game. Facing a 3rd and long from his own 8-yard line, Dawgs quarterback Buck Ballou scrambled and hit Lindsey Scott at the Georgia 25. Scott carried the rest of the way to the house, and Georgia won 26-20. The win helped Georgia springboard to its national title that season. In 1984, Florida entered the game on top in the SEC. The Gators built a 17-0 lead early in the third quarter. Then Georgia went on a time-consuming drive that died on fourth down near the Florida goal line. 3 plays later, Gator quarterback Kerwin Bell hit Ricky Nattiel on a 96-yard touchdown pass, breaking the game open. Florida went on to win its first SEC title, but had to vacate it after violations were exposed in the Florida program. That's a quick look at Georgia versus Florida. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe.